Merry Christmas, friends, and welcome into my craft room. I'm Heidi Sambal, and in today's episode, we are going to be making some high-end projects using Dollar Tree supplies to save for our home decor. All right, now let's get crafting. I adore these metal trees from the Dollar Tree. They're in their Dollar Plus section for $3. And this burlap upholstery ribbon, I actually get on Amazon, so I'm going to link it down below. But you can use any burlap ribbon that they have at the Dollar Tree. I really wanted to get this red stripe in here because I just think it is just so beautiful for the Christmas season. Now what we're going to do is we are going to be gluing this ribbon onto this metal tree. And honestly, you can leave the tree as is. But I'm a crafter and I like to make things look a little bit more special. So what we're going to do is we are going to just simply glue it on with a pleated fold. I learned as I was going along with this project, the more glue that I added, and we want to make sure that we're being cautious so we don't have a bunch of glue strings everywhere, but the more glue I added, the better it added that resistance and that hold onto the metal tree. And these trees are perfect to glue ribbon onto because they already have this texture on it. So it's not going to have your ribbon come off over time, because there's nothing worse than making a craft project and then it falls apart. So we are going to just add in a whole bunch of glue and we're going to just continue to work with our burlap ribbon. You can use any ribbon on this. They even have a beautiful green ribbon in the craft section at the Dollar Tree, or you can use white ribbon. You can use their burlap ribbon that has the lace on it. So many pretty options, but the idea is to give this tree a textured ribbon look to it. And I'm obviously going for a high-end farmhouse look on this one. So just keep adding in your glue and you're going to see here, I'm going to just keep putting on a ton. There really is no real true method other than just keeping it looking tidy on the inside, not getting all over on the outside. And I'm not going to worry too much about the extra pleats on the outside. I'm going to come back and add hot glue in a second, but first I'm going to trim off where I need the ribbon to stop, and I'm going to go ahead and just measure to make sure I've got that all the right length to be able to pleat that into place. And now I'm going to add in some more glue. Again, a lot of glue. Go ahead and just pinch over the end, and then you're going to just pleat that all down into place, making sure everything lies nice and flat. Now, I learned the best thing to do with this particular upholstery ribbon, I'm going to hold it to make sure that the glue is really getting into the fibers. And after I had been holding it for a few moments, I decided to go get some rubber bands because that was even better. So I just doubled up a big rubber band, put that right on, and then I actually go in and I go between all of those pleats on the outside and add some glue to hold everything in place. And then again, I'm going to add in another rubber band to make sure everything stays in place while it's drying. I really like to always give my projects time to dry before I move on, so things just don't shift and move on me. I don't like when things get out of place when I want them to stay where I need them to stay. So you can see here, I'm just kind of fluffing the ribbon, playing with it while the glue is still warm, and doesn't that look so cute already? Now that first rubber band is ready to come off, and all you do is you just take your scissors and just snip it and it falls right off, and you have got a beautiful two-layered tree so far. Now I'm going to add on two more. You can see I've got that third one on there, and now I'm going to come to the top because it's basically just repeating itself. I just wanted to make sure I showed the top one how I come in tighter at the top so that it has a nice skinny neck at the top of the tree. And I'm going to make sure I'm tucking it down underneath the star's point so it doesn't get all caught up in that, and you can see the star beautifully, but you can also see the neck of the top of the tree. I'm going to just continue to hold that in place, put my rubber band on it, and I'm going to do some adjustments because I wanted to make sure that everything looked nice and neat and tidy at the top. And again, add more hot glue where you need hot glue, just to make sure everything holds into place. And you can see here I'm doing some adjustments, and I'm just going to shift around that rubber band to make sure everything is holding while it's drying. Now once I've got all of my hot glue dried, ribbon in place, I'm going to remove all of those rubber bands. And then I'm going to come in with a beautiful twine bow. And this is super simple to make. I just spread my fingers open, my 4 fingers, and I start wrapping the twine around multiple times. I would say I probably went around maybe like 10 times. Then I'm going to take the existing twine that's on the actual spool, and I'm going to wrap that around maybe about 5 times using the extra start piece of the twine, and I'm going to tie 2 knots. It's going to want to slip a little bit just because it's not tied. Make sure you hold down your twine bow in place right in the middle as you double knot the center of it. Then you're going to go ahead and just adjust it a little bit, trim off any of the extra that you don't need. I decided to add a doubled up tail on it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut another piece of twine. I'm going to wrap it around the center twice and then do another double knot, bringing those tails down to the middle of the bow. This is the easiest bow to make, and it has such a beautiful high-end farmhouse look. Go ahead and take that and glue it to the top of your tree right underneath your star. And you can see I removed my rubber band to make sure it's all in place. I'm going to add a nice dollop of hot glue at the top, hold it in place until it is completely dry, and at this point you have yourself the most beautiful farmhouse high-end decor look for Christmas. We are going to be making a beautiful high-end Christmas tree project using these 2 oh so popular Dollar Tree Christmas trees, a galvanized bucket with twine around it, some pine cones, ornaments the color that you would like, and any color ribbon as well that you would like. We're also going to be adding in 2 zip ties and a piece of foam. Go ahead and remove your tree from the box and just toss these bottom pieces because we're not going to be standing them up with this standing part. We're going to be putting this into foam, making it look even more high-end versus this cheesy plastic bottom that really, honestly, the trees don't stand up very well with them. Go ahead and fluff out your tree branches where it's flat on one side of the tree because we are going to be bringing these 2 trees together. Now, I've been teaching this here on my channel for a while. The one tree is great, but if you can spare another $1.25, add in an extra tree and bring these together. If you want it even fuller, you can do 3 trees together, and what you do is you just flatten them and bring those rods that are in the middle of this mini tree together with a zip tie. I like to use 2 zip ties. I use one at the top and one at the bottom. Go ahead and tighten it as tightly as you can. Once you've got that first one on and your rods are evenly together, go ahead and do the bottom, and then always make sure you cut off those zip tie extra pieces, but don't accidentally cut one of the branches. So just move the branches out of the way while you're snipping those pieces off and then throw them away. Now we're going to take one of those foam squares from the Dollar Tree. You do not need the full square piece. I cut mine in half, so it just extends my money and I get to use that foam piece for something else, or if I'm making multiples of these. And then I'm going to just add some hot glue down the sides. We don't need it to go all the way down in there. It fits nice and snug, and this is also going to allow the tree to stand up taller in this bucket. Now this next part is optional. I don't personally like seeing the foam in it. I think it just adds a little bit more of a high-end look, a store finished product. And I'm going to just go around the rim onto the foam piece and just put some Spanish moss right on top. You could skip this part again. You could also use raffia if you have that on hand. Now I'm going to add a ton of glue onto the rod, and I'm going to push that down into the bucket and into the foam. Make sure you don't wiggle it around too much because you don't want the foam to get loose. You want it to stay nice and tight onto that rod. And also, if you didn't know, they have a larger tree at the Dollar Tree, and I think it's $5. I think it's 25 inches. This tree I'm working with, the mini trees, are about 12 inches. So we're going to go ahead, fluff that tree all out so it looks beautiful, ready for Christmas, and now we're going to decorate it. I found the easiest way to add on these ornaments. You could wire them on with wire hooks and just wrap it around, but if you just slide these on to the branches, you can add a little bit of hot glue, and I would recommend, sliding them on with gentleness because they are plastic tops, but I was able to get them on really easy. You just push some of the little bristles out of the way and slide it right on, and then add a small dollop of glue, which will keep it on the branch, and it doesn't come off. I tried to tug at it and it stayed on perfectly. Now I will also recommend, because this is the Dollar Tree, I like to add a little bit of glue onto the ornament. I just pop it right out of that little prong top piece, and then I glue it right back into place, and it'll keep these ornaments from popping off over time so that it keeps it looking nice and high-end and complete without missing little ornaments that are away from the little prong top. Now this part is optional, but I thought it would be so pretty to add in some of these darling mini pine cones. I know that they have these at the Dollar Tree. When I went to go look for supplies, they actually didn't have any in any of my stores around, but I had some on hand, and it just must be that maybe they were out of stock at the time, or maybe a lot of people are buying mini pine cones. I'm not sure, but you can add these or not. You can add on some tinsel. You can add on some other colored ornaments, little tiny bows, whatever you want to decorate your tree with. To add to the top of the tree, I decided to go with this beautiful bow. I'm going to be placing a burlap bow with a gingham bow. I love the layered look of bows. I think you all know that if you've been here for a while. I love to layer bows, and it's not complete without a tiny little button. I happen to have these star buttons that I picked up from Joann's a long time ago. They had a pack of star buttons. So I'm going to add that right into the center, come up to the top of the tree, and then just simply glue that on. There are all sorts of different versions of this online and even here on my channel, but this project is such a quick and fast, easy project to do that will really spruce up any table at any Christmas party that you happen to be going to, or even hosting yourself. This next project is super easy to do, and it has such a high impact look. We are going to be taking a platform plaque, we are going to be taking a painter stick, a little mini star, and also some craft sticks. I picked these craft sticks up from Walmart, and I get a big pack of them. I think they're like $2 or $3. Don't quote me on that, but it's a really great deal for the amount that you get. I'm going to add some hot glue onto my painter stick, and then I'm going to add that right around the rim of this plaque base that we're going to be using. I'm going to use my staple gun and staple that in place. You don't have to use the staple gun, but I'm going to really highly recommend, if you don't have one, ask for one for Christmas, because they are the best. I will say, if you have arthritis, they are a little hard to squeeze, but oh man, it makes it so that things really do hold together when you're working in your craft room, because sometimes hot glue is not always dependable. Once I've got that base on there, you can see here, I glued that very first craft stick on there and I cut it at an angle. That's so that I can make sure that all the rest of them are going to be on there straight. I now am taking the rest of these sticks and I'm going to just line them up, and you can put them closer if you want to. I was going for a little bit of a farmhouse traditional look, and then I'm going to hold those all in place. They're not glued down yet because I need to cut them first. I'm going to go ahead and just create some wispy little lines that are coming out so that it looks like a Christmas tree branch. You can see that the point that I come up to on the next one, on the next stick up, I go out a little further and then I come up so that the lines are not lined up perfectly. We want to see that little edge that's coming off at the bottom of each stick so it looks like a Christmas tree, and you see it going up to a point Again, just like a Christmas tree would. Think triangle. Think triangle. I think that's probably the best advice. All right, now I'm going to use some old scissors. Do not use your new scissors or your sewing scissors on this. This will absolutely destroy them. But if you have some old scissors on hand, go ahead and use those to cut all of these craft sticks. Once they're all cut out, you can go ahead and now start gluing them onto the painter stick. Simply take your time so that they're straight. Double check, because the worst is when you stand up a craft project and things are crooked. I've had that happen before. Go ahead and start gluing them on one by one, and when you get to the very top, you are now going to remove the sticker from the bottom of that plaque sign, and then we're going to paint it. You could leave it wood, you could stain the wood. It's all up to you and what you want to do. This is the best part about crafting. You get to customize your projects to look however you would like them to look. And I really promote that here on my channel. You can copy what I'm doing here, or you can make it your own. So I didn't have the exact color of green that I wanted on hand. Anytime you want to get to a more olive toned Christmas green, I like to add in brown and yellow, and that really does get me to that color I'm desiring. So I'm going to do that, mix it all together, and then add a little bit of white because it was getting a little too dark for my liking. So this is going to be a beautiful, I would say forest green, maybe even a little hint of that emerald green in there. It's a little bit lighter, but I just loved how the color turned out. What I was going for, I found it. Anyway, go ahead and paint your whole project at this point. I'm just going to give it a nice coat going all the way around, and I really wanted the color to be saturated, so if I saw that the wood was poking through a little bit, I went back in with a second coat because I really wanted to get that traditional Christmas look on this particular project. You could distress it. We all know we love a little distressing here on this channel. If you're going for a farmhouse look, you could do all sorts of things with this project. You could even paint it black. That could be beautiful too. There are so many options when you work with these craft sticks, and just wait until you see how we finish this project out. So I'm going to go ahead and dry in between my layers because like I said, I wanted the color to be really saturated. I also wanted to make sure we paint the backside. Oh friends, if I could promote anything here on my channel, make sure always to finish the back sides. I see so many crafters where they don't remember to do the back sides, and it really takes down the quality of a project. Just give a little bit of extra time to the back, paint it, paint the bottom, do those necessary steps to really make it look finished. You could also spray paint this if you wanted to. That would speed it up, but then you have the dry time. Now at this point, I am going to move on to my little star. I'm going to let that dry over to the side. I've got this metal flakes, it's gilding sheets, basically golden sheets. I don't know. We're going to just ignore what Heidi says. We're going to call them metal flakes. That's what Dollar Tree wanted to call them. You can find this at Dollar Tree. But I'm going to just put some Mod Podge onto the star and then put these golden flaked sheets. Why do I always struggle with words here on my channel when I'm doing these voiceovers? I don't know, it's real life, I guess. I'm a real crafter in my real craft room. The trick to doing this is you want to tap, 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 not drag, drag, drag. When you drag, it shifts around that golden sheet and it will cause it to pull and tear. If you happen to have any little spots that aren't working, you can see the glue still, you can just pick up another little piece and tap it right on it. Now keep in mind, if you get glue on your hands, this stuff is going to stick to your hands. So make sure when you put it down, let it dry for maybe a minute. You can even use a heat gun to help dry it quicker. Go ahead and remove all the extra that you don't want on your star. And then I'm going to simply just glue it to the top of this little darling tree we're making. Now I wanted to make a really pretty candle feature on this decor piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some of these green ties that you can use to tie up garlands on your stair rails. That's what these are really for. But we are going to be wrapping it around to get the size of the candle, and then I'm going to make a mini wreath with it. This is going to turn out so beautiful, and it's going to really heighten the look of this project when we're done, giving it a high quality look. I could definitely see something like this at Pottery Barn. In fact, they sell votive candle holders that look like this, and they're so expensive. Oh my word. We're going to do this with Dollar Tree craft supplies and some craft sticks from Walmart. So once you've got your wreath ring all in place and twisted, I'm now going to come in with some of these berries. They have these beautiful berry picks at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to add that onto my little wreath. I'm going to set that right onto my stand, and then I'm going to add my candle, and that's it. Isn't it so pretty? Thank you so much for visiting with me here in my craft room today. You all know how much I love crafting, and I feel like it is such a gift that God gives us to help with all sorts of things. Stress, free time, whatever it might be. I am so grateful for crafting, and I'm grateful that I have you as a friend. If you haven't yet, please do give this video a thumbs up. It always helps out my channel, and it's a way to give back since you're enjoying the video. And do leave a comment down below to let me know which one you think you might try, which one you liked, and how the start to your Christmas season is going. And until the next episode, bye friends.